Evening, everyone. It's 6:08, and this is your closing comment for Wednesday, the 11th, and it's video number 1617. Okay, so the market started on the upside this morning and spent the entire day adding to it again, with the last 15 or 20 minutes really pushing it even higher. Um, Dow was up 268, which is 0.8%. Nasdaq was up 189. That's 1.75. Just barely beating it out at 1.77% were the Dow Jones transports up 248. The Russell was up 2140 or 1.17, and the S&P up 51 or 1.28. What interested me here today was, number one, on the NYSE, it was about 3.5 to 1 advanced declines. On the NASDAQ, it was just barely 1 to 1. Volume, however, increased to 5.2 billion. And the thing that surprised me was that even with these markets being so strong the last couple of days, the VIX was up today while the market was up. It wasn't a lot, 2.5%, closed 20 and change, up 51 cents, but that is somewhat surprising. The chart on the screen is the oil, and it has held these bottoms and closed just about on the exact high. Well, actually, it did close on the high at 77.41. It has reopened again and is now 77.70, with a new high of 77.84. I think any close above, let's call it 78.29, let's call it 78.5, puts us into a pretty tough area. And also, this is a daily that would also put us back into the 50-day moving average. This is the 100, this is the 200, so that has plenty of room. What I find interesting, though, is that we made another higher low, and we're still in the prevalent channel. I'll show you a little bit better what that looks like. You can see. And I would not in the least bit be surprised for this 5-day moving average to cross through the 20 again back to the upside. As you can see, it has started up, but more importantly, the 20 leveled off and is ever so slightly upward leaning. So we'll have to see how that goes. Gold was up 240. Silver was only up 18. It was down 18 cents. I was looking at 23.23 literally as an area of support. The low today, I believe, was 23.25, and it closed 23.48. We bought the next Friday's AGQ calls, the 31s, and paid 85 cents. And I believe that they closed at 95. They traded actually over $1 after we bought them. I'm pretty satisfied with that. It's a very small position, a 4 and 2 position. And so I'm willing to take the gamble on tomorrow's big news, which is everybody I'm sure has heard by now. CPI and core CPI comes out at 8:30. As far as some of the big names today, Amazon had a monster of a day, up another 6.3%, back to 95.57, up 5.67. And Disney was higher. It had closed at 96.33, up 77, then traded up to 98.72, and the last I have is 97.68, up 212 or 2.3%. What's going on there is that Nelson Peltz, Trian, who has a position, um, is going to initiate a proxy battle in order to get a seat on the board. That board, by the way, which included Mark Parker, uh, who is a board member for Disney and was the executive chairman at Nike, is going to be the chairman at Disney. So we'll have to see how that goes. KB Homes, um, they had some problems with their numbers. Um, Not so much the net numbers, but things like margins decreased, while prices increased, deliveries decreased. The stock was trading 36.46. After the news, it got down to 33.18 and back up to 35.20, which was up 35 cents. So nothing overwhelming there. And a little one, Atlas, Atlis, Atlas Motors, which bills itself as the only America-owned American manufacturer of battery packs. I don't know whether that's true or not. Um, I see Tesla and their gigafactories here. That makes them, an American company listed in America, making batteries in America. The fact that it also makes batteries elsewhere, Germany and China, is an add-on. In any event, the reason I'm mentioning AMV is because it closed yesterday at $2.68. Today, it traded as high as $11.30. There's a weird chart on this. I have no idea. Couldn't find out any real information about it. But the high looks like 240, and it closed at. I mean, it's the chart doesn't actually even go back all that far. So the last on it, 10.08, up $7.40, or 276%. The announcement that the company made was that they got big orders. It actually turns out that they got letters of intent and they got memos of understanding, and they seem kind of soft on the actual confirmed signed orders for the battery. So, you know, it's just a warning out there. This one, I did not see any reverse splits. So, you know, moving on its own accord, I guess. Okay, as I said, tomorrow morning, CPI followed by core CPI. Big news, and we'll have to see. We are net long ESTE, the 12 and a half calls. The stock closed 13.40, I think, today. We have no actual money in the trade because we made 120% when we sold the first half of it. Unfortunately, we also have the UNG, the second half of those spreads. We did take 100% out there, and it looks like those are going to be worthless. I can't see it any other way. And I also believe that Friday afternoon this week might get a little choppy because Monday is Martin Luther King Day and the market is closed. So I think there may be some evening up, especially if we get any real action out of the CPI. All right, everyone, I'll be back first thing in the morning.